following is a presentation of HBO Sports.
I was always told, without confidence, you probably won't succeed. Going into the ring, I know for a fact nobody would beat me.
In 2012, Adrian Broner demonstrated that there's little he can't do in a boxing ring.
Good straight right hand, and down goes Perez.
3 fights, 3 emphatic knockouts, punctuated by a move up to lightweight and an eye-catching stoppage of champ Antonio DeMarco in November.
Down goes DeMarco on a swinging left hook.
If last year was about turning the corner toward recognition for the 23-year-old fighter, in 2013, the undefeated Broner looks to make the great leap forward and join boxing superstar ranks.
Adrian Broner is a household name now, but I know I got a long way to go. This is just the beginning.
32-year-old Gavin Reese believes he can put a halt to that lofty ascent. Nicknamed The Rock, Reese has 37 wins with just 1 defeat. Now, fighting on American soil for the first time, the rugged Welshman is determined to send shockwaves across both sides of the Atlantic.
I wouldn't have come all the way over here for 5 weeks at our training camp just to go over here and lose.
Oh my God! Live on World Championship Boxing, Adrian Broner versus Gavin Reese. Next.
It is an intermittently wet but uninterruptedly chilly night on the boardwalk in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Boxing fans are gathering in Boardwalk Hall to get another look at rising American sensation Adrian Broner, who is making his 2nd consecutive appearance here tonight against Wales's Gavin Reese. About 2 hours ago, Reese made his way into the arena and began preparing for this assignment against Broner. And about 5 minutes after that, Adrian Broner came in. Broner of Cincinnati made his last appearance here in November against Antonio DeMarco, produced a thrilling performance, and now expects to do so again tonight against Gavin Reese. He is heavily favored in the fight. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Lampley. We welcome you to this first World Championship Boxing edition for the year 2013. In the main event, you'll see Broner, now the holder of a lightweight championship belt, fighting in a 135-pound weight class against Gavin Reese of Wales. Ricky Burns of Scotland was the first candidate to take this assignment against Broner. He turned it down in favor of a fight with another title holder, Miguel Vasquez. Reese was more than willing to make the trip and has been in New York for 5 weeks, preparing to come down here to Atlantic City. And before we bring you that fight, we're going to show you a 168-pound title eliminator fight between Nikola Sjekloca, a Serbian fighter who lives in Montenegro, and Sakio Bika, originally from Cameroon, now living in Sydney and Los Angeles. Bika's a veteran of the division. You've probably seen him in one of his matchups against the likes of Joe Calzaghe, Lucian Bute, Andre Ward. The winner of this fight is expected to go forward perhaps for a title shot against Ward, who is regarded as the remaining champion, or the reigning champion, I should say, at 168 pounds. And we're bringing you this fight because it replaces the one we had expected to show you, a rematch of the heavyweight battle that took place on the undercard of Broner's last appearance here between Jonathan Banks and Seth Mitchell. It was a tremendous upset knockout win for Banks. They were expected to meet again tonight, but an injury to Banks waylaid that fight. So we bring you Sjekloca against Bika. Let's take a look now at the tail of the tape for these 268-pound fighters, and you can see that both are well on in years. Sjekloca had a 20-year amateur career, has been a pro for about 6 years now. He's 1 year older than Bika. Both are 6 feet or taller. Sjekloca has a 25-inch arm length measurement from the armpit to the end of the fist, which gives him an advantage over Bika, whose right arm does not fully extend, and therefore only measures 22 inches from the armpit to the end of the fist, as opposed to the 24-inch measurement for his left arm, where the elbow does go ahead and fully extend. They both weighed in a half-pound under the 168-pound limit, and both have put on just a small amount of weight, rehydrating overnight to get ready for this.
Ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the ring from the land down under, Sakio, the Scorpion Bika!
And I'll be joined at ringside by both Max Kellerman and Roy Jones, who look on with me now as Bika prepares to make his way to the ring. Over his shoulder, you see the veteran St. Louis trainer Kevin Cunningham, who is the former trainer of Corey Spinks and now the trainer of Devin Alexander. He took Bika over a couple of fights ago. Roy Jones, Bika is by nature something of a brawler. Kevin Cunningham trains pure boxers. How could this change Bika's game?
Well, it could be good for Bika because what he's missing is the pure boxing skills. He was such a strong and rugged guy that he never had to depend on skills to get him far. However, that also was his downfall. So by bringing Cunningham into the camp, it should definitely make a big improvement on his boxing skills and give him exactly what he needs to possibly get over the top now.
Bika has one of the largest heads in boxing, and some opponents say that it is one of his primary weapons. In fact, Joe Calzaghe was one who complained considerably about the number of fouls he felt Bika created against him, and either way, Max Kellerman, whether fouling or not, he's a super strong physical specimen.
And we see that usually from guys without classical boxing skills. If they're big and strong and physical, the head, the elbows, the shoulders, it all is part of the mugging if they're successful.
So the Cameroonian, who lives in Australia most of the time, now makes his way into the ring. I mentioned his meetings with Ward, Butte, and Calzaghe. All of them lost by decision. He's been something of a gatekeeper in the 168-pound weight class. He can beat you if you are not one of the top fighters, but as that record demonstrated, he has consistently lost to the top guys.
Now coming to the ring from Montenegro, Nikola Sjekloca.
First fight in the United States, as you see, in his 25 previous fights. He's fought once in Russia, once in Germany, and 23 times in the Balkans. A 20-year amateur career, didn't turn professional until age 28. Roy Jones, that's quite an unusual genesis for a fighter in this day and age.
Yeah, it's quite unusual, but not really in this day and age, because most of the Cuban fighters we're seeing are doing the same thing. Once they defect, they come over, they have 300 and 400 amateur fights, and then they turn professional. So now it's not really as, not often seen as normal. Now today in society, in the boxing society, of course, it's a very normal thing.
Only 7 knockout wins among 25 victories, unbeaten coming in. Logic tells us, Max, he'll have to try to outbox Bika.
Yup, if it's a bruising kind of street fight, as we mentioned earlier, that favors Bika. If it's more of a classical boxing match, that should favor Sjekloca.
168-pound fight. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the world-famous Boardwalk Hall here in Atlantic City, courtesy of Caesars, Atlantic City, New Jersey, USA, where tonight, Golden Boy Promotions is proud to present HBO World Championship Boxing, sponsored by Corona Extra, La Cerveza Más Fina, all bouts sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board. This contest, sanctioned by the WBC supervisor ringside, Mauricio Suleiman. Scoring the fight from ringside are 3 judges, Lynn Carter, Guido Cavalieri, and Alan Rubenstein. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, referee Ricardo Vera. And now it's number 1 versus number 2. So let's get this party started. On the line, the WBC World Title Eliminator, 12 rounds of boxing in the super middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black with white, officially weighing 165.5 pounds. As a professional, 30 victories, including 21 knockouts, 5 defeats with 2 draws. From Sydney, Australia, the WBC #2 ranked contender in the world, Sakio, the Scorpion Bika. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, also wearing black with white, official weight 167.5 pounds, a perfect professional record consisting of 25 fights. 25 victories, including 7 knockouts. From Budva, Montenegro, the #1 ranked WBC super middleweight contender in the world, Nikola Sjekloca.
Good. Sakio. Nikola. WBC Eliminator, 12 rounds. You were given your instructions. Obey my commands. Protect yourself at all times. At the sound of the bell, your time to shine. Touch him up.
Jim, you mentioned Bika's a gatekeeper. The question is, does Sjekloca have the power to crash the gate? And does Kevin Cunningham, on the other hand, has he given Bika enough technical skill to be something more than a gatekeeper, to make us imagine that he could re-challenge the top of the division and actually come away with some wins this time?
Roy Jones, can a European fighter who's had 25 professional fights and has only 7 knockouts, could he be hiding his power because he fights in the classic stand-up European style, or is it more likely that what you see in the numbers is what you get?
More than likely, he's hiding his power. I see him throw overhand right just now. As he progresses in the fight, his power probably will diminish a little bit, but right away, he's trying to establish a little respect from Bika because he knows Bika is a big puncher.
And you think he may be strong enough to get it?
Yeah, he's strong enough to get a little respect. Just when you see him throwing that overhand right like that, as an amateur, that was my first punch to let you know that I can punch. So he's trying to establish some respect first, then he'll start boxing.
Bika has 21 knockouts in his 30 wins. Very strong physical specimen, as we mentioned. Sometimes guys like this aren't able to translate their great strength into constant punching power, because in his case, he's very mechanical, and the opposition sees what's coming.
Well, outside of the mechanicalism, he looks like a 168-pound Evander Holyfield. He's very strong, very durable.
Lands a solid left hook, and Sjekloca shakes his head as if to say, no, you didn't hurt me with a left hook.
Well, that or either, wow, what a left hook you hit me with, because he seems to be a little shocked now.
And we are looking for evidence that Kevin Cunningham's expertise has made a difference here. Bika, as you mentioned, Jim, physically strong, but more of a clubbing kind of puncher, not a very sharp puncher. Cunningham has had a lot of success in recent years, especially with Devin Alexander. And so far in this first round, Bika does, to me, Roy, look like he's punching a little sharper than we're used to seeing.
It does look like he's punching pretty sharply.
Sakio Bika has already landed 1 solid left hook here in the first round. Has been able to easily handle most of what Sjekloca has thrown at him.
And he's behind his jab, Sakio is, so that's very surprising.
It's the right arm, which does not extend all the way for Bika. The left arm is the one that will extend all the way, and he's done his solid punching so far with the left. And you mentioned the resemblance to Evander Holyfield, not least of all, of course, because Holyfield also has a prominent skull.
I tell you what, I think Sjekloca has already showed Bika all that he has as far as the power department goes. So if he doesn't pull out something else there pretty quick, he's going to have a hard time with Bika.
Round one comes to a close, and a brand new element on our HBO boxing telecast emerges right now. There's Steve Weisfeld, veteran New York and New Jersey judge, practicing attorney in northern New Jersey. And from now on, whenever there is a rules situation to be interpreted here on HBO Boxing, Steve Weisfeld will be the man for that. Harold Letterman still scoring the fights at ringside. Steve Weisfeld joins us as a rules interpretation
There's no reason
expert.
for you to stand back here. Posing. Slip, slide, sticking and stabbing with the jab, stick, stab, drop your right hand, drop your hooks in the body and come up top. But keep him backing up. He don't want nothing to do with you. All right. The pressure gonna break him down alone, but you gotta apply it. You gotta apply it, man. All right? You don't have
Here you see Bika land a beautiful headbutt followed by a left hook behind it. That headbutt right there is probably gonna swell the eye. Then he landed a good left hook off the headbutt.
What makes it a beautiful headbutt?
Well, because it's not intentional. The ref doesn't see it, so we may not know why the swelling occurs if we hadn't had the replay.
It happened within the flow of the action and was therefore properly disguised.
There you go.
CompuBox numbers in round one. Bika landed 13 of 32 jabs. There's the Kevin Cunningham influence. 19 of 50 overall, 38%. Sjekloca, I should say, only landed 6 out of 27 punches in the first round. Seems to be trying to open up and get a little bit more aggressive here in the early moments of round number two.
Yeah, Sjekloca has his hands full right now because he has thrown out everything that he's used to throwing and nothing has happened. Bika is still right there. He's definitely not used to this, and he's starting to look like he's on uncertain ground and uncertain legs.
Exactly right. He wobbled there momentarily and has shown some trouble getting his feet under him here in round number two.
And this is what happens when you stay amateur too long and you're not around a gym that has a lot of professional fighters so that you can advance. He hasn't advanced much. As you see, he has 1 or 2 moves that he's used, and he's pretty much done now.
Very basic jab, jab, overhand, right type fighter.
Simple as that.
But meanwhile, Kevin Cunningham wants more pressure from Bika in this fight. He doesn't seem to have any problem with Bika's technique. He wants Bika to get more aggressive.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to let Sjekloca get into the fight. He wants to keep him where he has him, keep him behind Bika so that Bika maintains control. If Bika backs up and lets him ever land one of those overhand rights, anything could happen. Because Sjekloca is trying to win. He's trying to throw a great overhand right. He's just not making contact with it yet. He's trying. I just feel he's outgunned here, power-wise and skill-wise. And as you know, Bika has been in with everybody.
Very clean, gentlemen. Very clean.
Sjekloca, as I mentioned, spent 20 years as an amateur. Says he was supported through all of that by the Serb Boxing Federation. Wasn't terribly moved at the thought of making a lot more money here in the United States or fighting outside his cocoon in the Balkans. Didn't seem to be his highest priority. Man of very few words, at least during our meeting yesterday. We were working through an interpreter.
Did fight Gennady Golovkin as an amateur, so I'm sure he's seen some power before, but not sure if he's seen this kind of power in 10-ounce gloves without headgear before.
Right, he fought both Golovkin and Lucian Bute in the amateurs.
But you got to give him effort for his heart. He's trying very hard. I mean, you almost feel bad for him because you know he came to give it all he has.
I remember asking Kevin Cunningham yesterday if Bika had been working on uppercuts, and he threw 2 of them wildly with the right hand there moments ago. Good straight right hand by Bika to close round number 2.
Good work, Sakio.
February 19, Real Sports profiles Ronda Rousey, who's being touted as the best female MMA fighter ever. And following boxing tonight, a replay of our January edition of Real Sports. March 9, it's a World Championship boxing tripleheader featuring Chris Arreola, Keith Thurman, and in our main event, light heavyweight champ Tavoris Cloud against Bernard Hopkins. Cloud Hopkins that night, and immediately following that boxing telecast, my show, The Fight Game, will originate live from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn.
Stay in here. Back him up. Don't get your shots off and then pull out here in front of the man. All right? I want you to drive him back and keep the pressure on him and work on that body. Work on that body and finish to the head, all right?
Kevin Cunningham, one of the most entertaining of all trainers in the corner between rounds. Very assertive. CompuBox numbers in the second. Bika, 35 of 88, 40%. Sjekloca, only 5 of 29, very similar to his numbers in round one.
This is a last-minute replacement for TV fight that's substituting for a really what would have been an intriguing heavyweight rematch. And Sjekloca is undefeated, and he's fought some guys in the amateurs, but he lost to them. And Bika has tested the top, but he lost to them as a pro. So the question here is, barring a great action fight, it's been okay so far, what's the point? And the best I can come up with is we want to see if Cunningham can make enough adjustments to Bika where we start to believe, hey, he gave Calzaghe and others rugged fights. Could he maybe give them more than just rugged fights in the future? Roy, what do you see?
Well, right now I do see a lot of improvement. He looks a lot better. I'm not used to seeing him land right leads, body shots like he's throwing. So I do see a great deal of improvement. However, the top guy we were speaking of is Andre Ward. That's a tough assignment.
Let's not get hysterical.
That's a tough assignment for anybody.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Ward has already beaten Bika in a one-sided decision. If the governing body gets what it wants, then the winner of this fight gets a matchup with Ward. But why would Ward want to fight Bika? He's beaten him once. He's a big, strong guy. It's work to fight him. You might get butted. I don't see any percentage in it.
No, I don't either. But the thing about Liz is if you want to keep your title and he's ranked #1, you have to fight him.
Well, you know, that's the problem with Andre Ward is he's beaten everybody at least once.
And that says a lot about Andre Ward.
Sure does. He cleaned out the super middleweights in the tournament, and were it not for the injury, he'd still be cleaning out fighters right now.
I totally understand and have all the respect in the world for fighters who desire to have title belts. Andre Ward doesn't need title belts to establish who he is.
No, but they helped us define him.
No. Well, he's the super middleweight champion. He's the only one with a claim.
Clearly, that's why I say it helped us define him. He's clearly the best super middleweight out there right now.
He could fight with no belt, no shorts. He's still beat everybody.
Andre's a very decent human being and isn't going to fight without shorts.
I tell you, this is Bika territory where it's just a grueling toe-to-toe match. He's moving his head left and right. You're liking what you see out of that. But you got to give Sjekloca credit. He's taking big punches, and he's still trying. He hasn't backed up too much. He's not afraid to go out there and go for it.
Earlier this evening, Max Kellerman had a visit in the dressing room with Adrian Broner.
Adrian, I've noticed a lot of Cincinnati hats out there. A lot of people came a long way to see you fight. Why do you think that is?
I mean, you know, I'm attractive. Women want to come see me, and the guys love boxing, and I entertain.
How have you been able to connect with those fight fans?
I just be myself, man. If they see me out, if they want a picture, I take all the pictures they need. I sign all autographs, you know. I just connect with my fans.
You also connected a lot against DeMarco, I think, which is one of the reasons you're as hot as you are right now. What do you feel about this, which is, after all, the follow-up performance to that masterpiece?
You know, same shit, different toilet. We going right back. We going right back at it, man. You know, I know I got some good opposition in front of me. I know he's gonna come to fight, but whatever he brings to the table, we're gonna be ready for it.
You were as high as an 80-1 favorite. 80-1. There's a lot of downside there. What's the upside for you?
I'm Adrian Broner, man. I'm the missing puzzle piece of boxing.
Break clean, gentlemen.
Well, you saw a long right hand land there for Nikola Sjekloca. In the last round, He landed 10 of 42 punches. That's better than he had done before. But Sakio Bika was 30 of 79. And Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim, not a hard fight to score. 3-0, 30-27, Sakio Bika. He's just out working him, landing the harder shots. Real good left uppercuts. I'll tell you, I like the way he throws that uppercut. You know, he's forcing it back and taking it to him. Jim, real quick, a hearty congratulations to our colleague, Max Kellerman, who is named the 2012 winner of the Sam Taub Award by the Boxing Writers Association of America for excellence in boxing broadcast journalism. Jim.
Thank you, Harold. And I believe you've also been nominated to the California Boxing Hall of Fame. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that's the 5th Hall of Fame, I think, for you, Harold.
Yes, it is. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations to both of you guys.
And congratulations also to CompuBox, which is working tonight on the 28th anniversary of its debut with HBO. 28 years ago, I believe it was Bramble Mancini, is that right? No, it was Bramble against somebody else, but that was the first fight for them 28 years ago here on HBO. CompuBox still going strong.
Bika just hurt.
Left hook to the body.
With a body shot, yes. Hurt him bad.
Well, one thing I noticed is Sjekloca, or Sjekloca, I should say, seeming to realize where he is and how difficult the assignment is trying to put more power on every punch. But that's leaving him a little bit more open, and he just got ripped by a Bika right hand.
He ripped Bika first, but it's the body shots that really are killing him from Bika.
Yeah, it's not that Sjekloca is not putting any force behind the right hand. You can see it affects Bika, but not enough to stop him. It stings him for a second, then Bika's right back, landing the real heavy artillery.
You cannot stand in front of Bika like this and take all those heavy punches.
No. Sjekloca is losing control of this.
Yes,
He's
he
getting into a toe-to-toe brawl with Sakio Bika.
And that's the wrong man to get into a toe-to-toe brawl with.
And yet the distance is at a good, the fight's taking place usually at a good distance for Sjekloca, but Bika's having, not right here, but in the middle of the ring, but Bika's having more success than we're used to seeing in the middle of the ring.
Well, I don't want to denigrate the guy. He's come a long way, and he's putting up a brave fight. But Sjekloca is slow enough to make Bika look like a technically skilled puncher.
Yes, he is. He's just slow enough to make him look like a technically skilled puncher.
Bedoya Sjekloca. Bedoya Sjekloca, I'll get it right. Father of Nikola Sjekloca, there in the corner.
Right hand up. Keep your arms up. Breathe. Breathe. Use the right hand. Breathe.
He sees Sjekloca swap a BB gun for a shotgun right hand. Bang, right in the top of his head. Seems to have caused him a little bit of discomfort right away, but Bika's hands are so heavy. You see Bika come right back with the overhand right. They hit him right in the top of the head, jammed his neck down into his chest, and that's a tough punch to take for Sjekloca.
Round 5 begins. Nikola Sjekloca against Sakio Bika.
And coming out with real effort here, real determination. The question is, does he view that as his last stand? Does he view these moments right here as his last stand? Because what we see so far is, barring a miraculous turn of events, Sjekloca is not an elite fighter.
No.
Is Bika, again, taking steps towards being one, or are we just seeing a super middleweight fight here?
Well, use that jab Bika's using. I think he's taking steps toward being a pretty good fighter. A much better fighter than I've seen him be in the past.
I don't think there's any question Kevin Cunningham has made an impact on Sakio Bika.
A big impact.
Right, when
Hard
Sakio
body
Bika,
shot by Bika.
When Bika starts to look like Adrian Broner in the middle of the ring, you know the guy that he's in with is not the fastest in the world.
I mean, he's slipping punches, something we've never seen him do before. I've never seen him do before anyway. Calculated jab.
All this is happening at age 33 for a guy who's been around a long time.
Exactly. Beautiful body attack, straight right leads. Very impressive.
World Championship Boxing coming to you live from Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey. This is our preliminary bout between Sakio Bika and Nikola Sjekloca. And it'll be followed by the main event between Adrian Broner and Gavin Reese. Broner on a skyrocketing elevator toward a ranking in the pound-for-pound top 10. Hasn't quite gotten there on most lists yet, but is gathering more and more attention from boxing fans with each outing, and might have produced his best performance in his last showing here against Antonio DeMarco in November.
Broner doesn't have the resume yet, but you talk to people around the game, including and especially other fighters, and at this moment, doesn't look like too many guys who have a real good shot to beat him.
Nikola, don't hold him.
I'm very impressed with this jab that Bika is throwing tonight.
He just tripled that jab up, Roy Jones.
Never seen him do this before in his whole career.
There's another triple jab from Bika.
Landing straight right hands in the middle of the ring.
You know?
All new.
How you feel, bro? You feel good? Yeah. Well, if you feel good, I need you to work like you feel good, all right? You close to this man.
March 16, Timothy Bradley fights for the first time since his disputed victory over Manny Pacquiao, facing Ruslan Prabodnikov of Russia. Immediately following that show, stay tuned for Road to Rios Alvarado 2. A look at both men as they prepare for their March 30 rematch of the outstanding fight in October, won by Brandon Rios.
Breathe.
Non-stop liga. Liga kao sad. Brani se desnom i levi direkt.
Defend yourself with the right one.
Very quickly, Roy Jones, what can Mike Alvarado do to make Rios Alvarado 2 different than its predecessor?
He has to strictly box. He can't go out there and go toe-to-toe with Rios like he did the first time. I know he doesn't like to box. He likes to fight that toe-to-toe fight, but Brandon Rios is the best at that. He proved that in the first fight.
Indeed he did, winning a face-to-face war in which there were no clinches. That was a 6-rounder, and now we're in the 6th round of this fight between Bika and Sjekloca.
Pacquiao and Marquez was considered by most fight of the year. Dramatic, high stakes, multiple knockdowns. First 2 rounds of that fight were forgettable. There were no real slow rounds in Rios and Alvarado. That was just trench warfare.
And the 5th round was a strong candidate for round of the year, along with the 6th round of Pacquiao Marquez and the 12th round of Martinez Chavez in Las Vegas.
There were some really good fights and some really good rounds last year.
Excellent. It was a very good year. Good
body
body shot by Sakio Bika. Roy Jones and I going to the same thing. Spend enough time at ringside, you're going to become a great lover of the hooks of the body. It's as damaging a punch as you can throw.
And one of my favorite of all time. Oh, good move by Sakio Bika.
I mean, Bika's catching and countering.
You feel me? I mean, wow. Bika?
I give Sjekloca credit for a ton of courage. He's outgunned here.
A ton of heart and a ton of courage.
Corner man has some courage too, fanning him with that white towel. Pretty soon he may want to point that in the other direction, although there's no real moment where you say, wow, Bika's really giving him a beating. It's just a slow, steady pounding.
Yeah, but if you understand how hard or how heavy Bika's hands are, you understand that steady pounding is not good for anybody.
Sjekloca got in a right-left combination.
Yep, he's still having his moments.
Momentary pause from Bika.
No, break clean, gentlemen, break clean.
Sjekloca obviously in good condition. A lot of opponents would have been worn down by now, given the amount of action that Bika's producing in there.
Big time worn down. So he's definitely in condition. I think he did everything that he could do to come make his mark in the United States.
Yeah, this is all he's got.
Yep.
Bika, you know, the game plan going in was get up in Sjekloca's chest and not give him room to breathe. That means Sjekloca's back on the ropes, and that really hasn't happened so far. It's just been a boxing match in the middle of the ring.
It's a rough boxing match.
Yep.
It's the funniest scenario we could have thought of. Bika is outboxing the non-punching Sjekloca.
Exactly right.
Right.
I mean, the record indicates he's not a puncher.
You're right.
Good move by Sjekloca.
Time! But he wobbles slightly as he goes back to his corner. And there's Gavin Reese warming up in his dressing room for what he says will be a routine assignment against Adrian Broner. Not impressed, he says, by Broner, and incidentally, he's decided after 5 weeks of training in New York to prepare for this that American fans don't like Broner, and that they want to see him lose, and that he, Gavin Reese, will be doing them a favor tonight. He's gonna have to count on Americans to root for him if anybody here will. When they played the Welsh national anthem before we came on the air, it was greeted by hundreds of blank looks at ringside.
Drop some under, all right? And when you're close to him, rip in that body, and then finish up top.
Let's go.
Second down.
Round 7 begins. First 6 rounds have been pretty much the same thing round after round. Harold, how do you have it scored?
Same thing, round after round. 6-0, 60-54, Sakio Bika. You know, Jim, clean punching is 90%, 99% of scoring a boxing match, and Sakio Bika is winning this fight on clean punching. Beautiful double left jabs, triple left jabs, just like he called it. He doesn't even throw one jab anymore. It's always 2 or 3. And Max, that thing with the white towel, the idea is you want to get more oxygen to your fighter. They do it all over South America and in some of the European countries, as we're seeing. Whether it works or not, I haven't the foggiest idea. But that's what it's for, more oxygen to the fighter. Jim.
Yeah, no kidding. But and by the way, Sjekloca had a better round last round. I think I agree with you. He lost it, Harold, but he's starting to hit Bika with some clean right hands and make the fight closer, at least in the last round.
He's bringing that right hand under like an uppercut and getting to Bika's body with it, and that may slow Bika down just a bit.
Just landed 2 beautiful left body shots under Bika's jab, and I was very impressed with those punches. Oh, good uppercut by Bika.
Right hand by Bika.
Them body shots must have pissed Bika off.
It's the kind of night when a knockout would be merciful. Because it looks as though we're going to go 12 rounds and Sjekloca is going to take a ton of punishment over the course of those 12 rounds unless Bika slows down.
Yeah, and he has a little bit in the last couple rounds, or at least it's been more even. This round, Sjekloca's had his moments as well. There with a good stiff jab moments ago. And right
there's that right to the body again. That has become his best weapon now.
He's got to make sure he don't get caught with a right hand while he's leaning over there delivering that shot.
If he can land enough of those, maybe he can set up one of those right hands over the top.
Maybe, but he's not throwing enough of the ones under. Oh, good shot by Bika.
Look at the success Bika has on the inside. Even if he is admiring his new boxing skills, why not stay there on the inside?
He's throwing some real bombs in there, I'll tell you that.
Those body shots about 15, 20 seconds ago looked like they were going to crumble Sjekloca.
And if he keeps taking them, they will.
Sjekloca is one gutty guy. He came forward and landed a right hand after taking about a half dozen massive body shots from Bika.
boksuješ direktima, smireno. Najbolje ti je to, najsigurnije. Skloni desno.
That's the best thing. That's more sure. Straight, jab, right one, left one.
Ima prođu.
Bottom up, all right? And when you're jabbing that, when you're shooting that jab, you're touching him with the jab. Put the right hand, pop, 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 drop the right hand with the jab, man. Touch, pow, pow, right hand.
Second jab. Kad ti da sve ono, si čuo?
Round 8 begins.
As Sjekloca has heated up in the last couple rounds, I feel as though this fight has gone from good, solid, professional fight to maybe something a little more than that.
What's that, Max?
There's a little more drama because Sjekloca's landing those shots and showing a lot of heart, and it's just been more compelling to watch.
I've seen the fight so far as basically a showcase for the new Sakio Bika. A showcase for a Sakio Bika who just has a lot more game than before. Just tasted a right hand from Sjekloca though, and just as I suggested, Sjekloca with enough body shots finally set up a right hand over the top. Just missed with that one.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jim, but in the last couple rounds, listen, this is part of learning technique, is applying it consistently over the entire course of the fight. And Sjekloca is finding some cracks and exploiting them in the last couple rounds and flying Bika's head a little bit.
Bad thing for Sjekloca is it wasn't ever hard to find Bika in the past. It's just that it did not much good when you did find him. Now he's being an aggressive weapon before you find him and after you find him. So experience shows that finding him doesn't really mean nothing.
Bika's tiny nation of Cameroon.
Watch that head, Nikola.
Seldom heard from in the world of sports, but they did win the soccer gold medal at the Sydney Olympics in 2000. Uppercut lands again for Bika.
Very good work from Bika there.
And Bika's jabbing and throwing so many punches that it's making Sjekloca keep his hands at home for defense more than offense. So he can't really use them much because he's too busy trying to defend himself. And his face is starting to show it. Good body shot by Sjekloca.
Hanging in.
Break clean, break clean, break clean. Time!
How you feel, man? Good. Feel good? I need you touching him with a jab. As soon as you touch, fire your right hand, man. Dig up under here. Come back up top. But you gotta have your defense up, man, when you're here. All right? And stop stepping out here in this man's range. You staying in his punching range. All right? Drink, rinse.
Straight, jab, straight. Keep your guard up. Move around more. Move. Right uppercut. Breathe.
Round 9 of a scheduled 12. Again, the winner of the fight becomes a mandatory challenger for Andre Ward, king of the 168-pound weight class. Ward already has a win over Sakio Bika to his credit.
You can see neither one of these guys is a challenge for Andre Ward.
That's pretty easy to see.
And there's the downside of really cleaning out a division, which as boxing fans, we always think we want our top fighters to do. Sometimes it makes the division a little less interesting once they do it.
Sakio Bika threw a wild roundhouse right. Roy Jones and Sjekloca had a counter-punching opportunity there. Couldn't do anything damaging with it, and now, since that time, you saw Bika rip Sjekloca with a perfect left hook.
Yeah, well, Sjekloca had to do so much to get out the way of that overhand right until he was out of position to counter after the shot was thrown. So coach's corner man is trying to tell him what to do, but it's very difficult when you're not feeling those body shots.
See, in this round, Sjekloca has become forward fighter, and Bika circling the perimeter, and now Bika starts to reassert his physical strength.
Yeah, but Sjekloca, although coming forward, is not punching. It's like he's looking for an opening and he may never see it. Well, there was one. Oh, good body shot by Bika.
Two tough guys.
Well, in this round, Sjekloca landed a clean right-hand shot, which once again demonstrated to us he probably doesn't have the power, at least not at this point, to hurt Sakio Bika. And we've discovered during the last couple of rounds that not only are we intently watching Sakio Bika versus Nikola Sjekloca, but also Adrian Broner in his dressing room is paying attention and watching Bika Sjekloca. Adrian, what's your take on the fight so far?
It's a hell of a bout. Look like Rock'em Sock'ems. They punching each other in the face a lot.
Kind of fight you wouldn't want to be in or don't see yourself in?
Like I told you before, man, I'm just not a fan of letting a sweaty man touch me.
Do you see any chance that Sjekloca could turn this around, or is Bika simply going to roll to victory on his physical strength here?
I think he'll keep going to the body, and Bika keep rolling this one on out.
Have you seen Sakio Bika before?
Yes, I've seen him before.
So do you think that Kevin Cunningham is creating a big improvement in this fighter? We seem to feel as though he's boxing better than we've seen him before.
He's a lot sharper than he usually is.
All right. We'll see you in a couple of rounds, Adrian, when you come into the ring against Gavin Reese.
Man, I'm going to put on a show for y'all.
Good. We want it to be a good show.
Hey, I might not give y'all a lot to watch, though.
Short can sometimes be sweet. CompuBox numbers in the 9th round. Bika 31 out of 76. Sjekloca 10 out of 31. And 31 punches in the round is Sjekloca's lowest output since the 2nd round. Max, you pointed out early in the round that Sjekloca was holding his hands in to try to, control the action and avoid getting hit too big with Bika's body shots.
I think that was Roy who pointed that out, but it's certainly true.
One of you two guys.
And there was a headbutt at the end of the last round that put a cut on Bika.
Yeah, the kind of brief middle rounds renaissance or rally that Sjekloca had, which probably still wasn't enough to win those rounds. The tide seems to have turned again, and it's Bika doing most of the work.
Well, isn't it a minor upset that the headbutt created a cut for Bika and not the other way around?
Yes, it is, because I know he's definitely not used to that. As a matter of fact, he looked shocked when it happened.
Normally, the blood goes the other way.
Boy, you have to give this kid some credit for trying, Sjekloca. He's trying his hardest.
Particularly when your skills aren't good enough, you're not quick enough, you don't hit hard enough, you're in with a bruising kind of fighter. What keeps a guy like Sjekloca, you know, trying to win, not just hanging in there, but still trying to win?
Heart. Strictly his heart.
Break. Break clean.
He has every reason to be discouraged, particularly from the body shots.
And with a fighter like Bika, as heavy-handed as he is, even jabs feel like straight right hands at times.
Oh, we've seen him knock Sjekloca back 2 feet from a jab.
Among the many things that have been impressive about Bika's performance, effective use of the right uppercut. Pretty constant from the 4th round on.
I'll say, and to the body, Jim.
Hammering it. Bika slipping a left there and coming forward again. March 9, we return with a bi-coastal triple header. First, from California, it's heavyweights Chris Arreola and Bermani Stabern. Then, from Brooklyn, it's Keith Thurman against Jan Zabek. And in our main event, light heavyweight champ Tavoris Cloud against ageless wonder Bernard Hopkins. And stay tuned immediately following live boxing for my show, The Fight Game, as we continue to tackle timely topics in the world of boxing. The show will originate live from the Barclays Center.
You got to go take these last 3 rounds, Sakio. I want you to double jab, shoot your double jab, fire your right hand and dip down in here and put that left hook down in that body, all right?
Sjekloca is a Montenegrin who trains and fights out of Serbia. Jan Zabek, who's fighting Keith Thurman on March 9, is from Slovenia, pretty much in the same neighborhood, that corner of the Mediterranean. And any of you who saw Zabek against Andre Berto will remember what a tough customer he is.
Yes, sir.
Very physically strong.
But he's also facing a very physically strong welterweight in Keith Thurman.
Several media outlets chose Thurman as the prospect of the year in 2012. He's a very hard puncher.
With both hands.
And he's shown steady improvement, Thurman.
Well, there seems little question about the power. The question is, how long will it take Thurman to build genuine craft? Now their heads come together again.
You're leading, both of you are leading with your head. Let's go. Okay, let's go. Time back in. Stop leading with the head.
Referee Ricardo Vera noting what anybody at ringside could see, which is that their heads are banging together fairly frequently now.
A good body shot by Bika. Seemed like it almost lifted Sjekloca off the floor.
Good body shot with the right hand by Sjekloca.
Sjekloca just seems to be trying to find the distance with a home run right hand at this point. Maybe hoping to catch Bika walking in.
In the first few rounds, you would have thought if the action continued that way, very difficult for Sjekloca to make it to the finish line. But here he is in the 11th, still searching for one big shot that would turn things around.
He's one tough competitor, Jim.
Nikola.
After all, nobody gleefully applies to fight Sakio Bika. He's not first on your preference list.
No, he's not.
You know, this fight has me thinking, no matter what the stakes or skill level in boxing, 2 professional fighters with pride who try their best always give you something to watch. And by this time in the fight, it's hard. I mean, this is not the most scintillating fight ever, but it's hard not to admire these guys, particularly in a way Sjekloca, because of the constant thudding he's taking and his competitive spirit in the face of that.
Every round has been entertaining in its way. Sjekloca wanted to talk to the referee about Bika's head. Bika was coming after him with more punches.
Break clean, gentlemen, break clean. Time!
Last round. You can do it. You can do this. Breathe. Breathe. Breathe deep.
But that's all I got to tell you right now. Is you need to go get this shit, man. All right? You getting close to this man and you ain't letting your hands go. Let your hands go. Use a jab, use your jab, sticking and stabbing him with a jab, and let that right hand, left hook go. And when you get close to him, go to work on his body, man.
Overall CompuBox numbers show Sjekloca has landed 43% of his power punches. That's a good percentage. Hasn't thrown enough of them to be in the competition with Sakio Bika.
I like what Kevin Cunningham just said in the corner. I think he, as usual, he's right. Bika, good performance, showing a lot of improvement, winning the fight. But give us something here. Give us a reason to want to see you again. Create some urgency. When you get inside, you know, he's doing enough, but he could be doing more.
What would it take, Roy, for Bika to be a more effective knockout puncher in a situation like this?
It's very difficult for a guy like Bika to become a more effective knockout puncher in this situation because the guy he's fighting has been a brilliant amateur boxer for so many years. So this guy is very intelligent and has very good defensive skills. And as you saw right there, if you make a mistake, he can make you pay.
Absolutely.
So I think Bika's been doing a great job of just constantly working, keep going to the body, and hope you catch him with one of those shots when he's not prepared to catch it.
All in all, it underlines the time-honored point in boxing that the punch which most hurts you is the one you don't see coming. Sakio Bika can do a lot of good things, but it's very hard for him to throw a punch that a good opponent won't see coming.
Precisely, and therefore Cunningham wanted Bika in this fight to grind down Sjekloca. Once he gets inside, and as Roy said, that's not without cost getting inside. Like that. But once he's in there, he doesn't want him getting back out. He wants Bika continuing to work on the inside.
And he's been doing a terrific job of working on the inside. I mean, don't get me wrong, Sjekloca is holding him and making it tougher for him to do the things that Cunningham wants him to do.
Like there.
But he's doing a good job of working when his hands are free.
Break. Yeah, I think Cunningham may not be thrilled that they are going to go the distance, but by my lights, Sakio Bika has fought as well as he can fight.
And I agree with you, Jim.
Break. Pretty hard for him to do more than he's done tonight.
Yep, he's gotten better, and from what Cunningham's saying in the corner, it seems like Cunningham thinks he can get better than this.
Break, gentlemen. Keep him up, Nikola. Just hit him up. Keep him up, okay?
And as we've mentioned all along, part of the problem for Bika is he's already seen two of the top active guys in the division. It's less likely he gets another shot at Butte or another shot at Andre Ward. They've done this.
Break, gentlemen.
So maybe he'll look for a money-making opportunity against the winner of Carl Froch versus Michael Kessler coming up on May 25.
Interesting idea.
Would be an action fight against either. They go the distance, and all credit to both. in a hard physical fight. Harold Letterman had a clean sweep. Bika winning 120 to 108. And Harold, who are the official judges who scored the fight?
Okay, Jim, they got three pretty good judges, if you ask me. It's like an international panel, to tell you the truth. Lynn Carter from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, she's been judging since 1982. As you see, she had the same score I did of Paul Williams, Sergio Martinez. She's also worked Thomas Adamek, Kevin McBride, Eddie Chambers, Derek Rossi, well-known judge. Guido Cavalieri, he works all the big fights all over the world. I mean, this is the guy that worked Carl Frampton, Kiko Martinez in Belfast last week. Huge fight. He worked Mikkel Kessler, Carl Fresh, and as you see on your screen, he also worked Bernard Hopkins over Jean Pascal. Alan Rubenstein, also from Pennsylvania. He works as a judge, a real judge in the courts. Been there for years. Good judge. He's worked quite a few fights. You see, he worked Bernard Hopkins over Kelly Pavlik. I like Alan. He's a good judge. So I think we're going to get a good decision, Jim.
And we invite our viewers to text to 53548 and tell us who you think will win the fight between Broner and Reese. When the numbers first appeared there moments ago, they were a little bit shocking, but now we're in the right order as Broner is getting 71% to 28% for Reese. Now, Michael Buffer stands by with the official decision on this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, courtesy of Caesars Atlantic City, we go to the scorecards. Lynn Carter has it 119-109. Guido Cavalieri 118-112, and Alan Rubenstein scores it 120-108. All three to the winner by unanimous decision. Now the WBC mandatory challenger for the title. From the land down under, Sydney, Australia, Sakio, the Scorpion Bika.
Easy unanimous decision for Bika. Conforms to what we saw with our own eyes. Final CompuBox numbers will show Bika dominance in terms of the number of punches thrown. He threw 443 more punches, nearly doubling the number of punches Sjekloca threw, I should say. And here's the number of power punches, and you can see that Bika landing 145 of 368 did very well at 39%. Sjekloca landed at a higher connect percentage, but simply couldn't do the kind of damage that Bika did. And those numbers should be flipped. Those numbers are obviously on the wrong sides. 145 and 368, 39%. That was Bika. 67, 150, 45%. That was Sjekloca. And here's a punch zone graphic that shows you where the punches landed. And the real damage, I think, 97 body punches to the body of Sjekloca, and that was Sakio Bika hammering away inside. He also landed 217 punches upstairs. Sjekloca did some damage, just not enough to slow down Sakio Bika, who fought like a freight train tonight. Now let's take a look at upcoming boxing programming here on HBO.